Welcome to Alert Tales, where we dive deep into the most gripping stories of real-life experiences. If you love tales that evoke emotion, spark conversation, and connect us all, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our community for more captivating stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
I think I have forever lost my husband. Me, 35, and my husband, also 35, have been together for 9 years, married for 5, and have a 2-year-old baby together. We were in a long-distance relationship for the last 2 years, and only started to live together again as a family since 2 months back. Even though it was supposed to be exciting to finally be together, I feel like I'm living through hell. My husband is completely emotionally checked out. I'm mourning the loss of the bond I had with him. I'm mourning the loss of the friend I lost. I wish I didn't mess up so bad. And now I'm bearing the fruits of my labor, I guess. But I was struggling myself too while dealing with my life getting worse and PPDPPA. I know that's no excuse, but how do I make my husband understand whatever I did was not purposeful? I'm going through the greatest grief of my life right now, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I'm in therapy, and I discovered that I have an anxious attachment, and I go into flight mode when triggered. I projected a lot of anxiety onto my husband. I wish I knew better. I wish I communicated better. I wish I didn't go silent when he wanted to talk. I wish I made him feel valued. I wish I could undo all my mistakes. My therapist said it has gotten past the point of no return and to let it go, but I can't. I don't know what I am holding on to. He admitted that even if I give my 100% to win him back, he's not sure what version of him I'd get. He said despite him feeling so distant from me, he wants to try. I don't know if he meant it or not. His actions don't align with his words. He's too kind, and I guess he didn't want to hurt me, and that's the reason he said it. It's 3 a.m. where I'm writing from, and I'm laying in bed crying. That's what I do most of the time anyways now. And my husband is out partying with friends, which is a totally new and unusual behavior for him. But that's what he has become now. And I hate it. I hate the fact that others have become a source of his happiness now and not me. I hate the fact that he finds solace in others' company and not me. I'm jealous of his friends. I hate the fact that they get to laugh with him and not me. I hate how I'm just a nobody to him. On good days, I get a hi hello even though we sleep in the same bed. We don't talk at all. For all the couples out there reading this, don't be like me. Don't take your love, your relationship for granted. Be so good to them that they think of you as the greatest blessing to them, and don't love them the way you think love is. Love them the way they feel loved.
My night was saved by a worker at a McDonald's drive-thru. After a rough few weeks with my mental health, I was really looking forward to a good night out tonight. Instead of my usual low-effort look, I treated myself to a haircut and a bouncy blow-dry that made my hair look great. I got my makeup done, bought a new outfit, and basically felt really confident that I was looking my best. I felt really good. I get there and things start going downhill. One of the friends I'd arranged to meet there was nowhere to be seen. They'd been messaging me for ages trying to get me out, made a big deal about wanting to catch up, and it was 2 hours before they turned up. Before that, at one point I found myself separated from my friends and spent 20 minutes walking around on my own, looking for them. Note that this wasn't a particularly busy place, so easy to spot people, and it turns out quite a few people had noticed me looking lost, as I discovered later when they bumped into me and commented on it. Friend finally turns up. We'd made a plan beforehand that once they'd arrived, we'd spend some time catching up, just the two of us, pretty much straight away. But now that they were here, they kept disappearing. Then when I found them, they just wanted to chat to this other person first. So I joined the group conversation and all was fine. Then they nipped off to get a drink with this other person and told me to wait there. 10 minutes later, I see the other person return, but not my friend. I waited a while longer, but then I'd had enough. I'd felt pretty much invisible all night. No one had paid much attention to me, and this one friend who'd made such a big deal about seeing me just disappeared on me. I wasn't in the mood anymore, and I just gave up and left. I was feeling pretty sorry for myself, trying not to cry as I was driving home because I'd ruined that gorgeous makeup I'd had done, even though I'm taking it off the moment I get home anyway. Decided to go via a McDonald's to cheer myself up. I was sad, I was hungry, and I'd had enough of people, so the last thing I wanted to do was engage in conversation with the guy at the window, who frankly I thought seemed rather odd. But politeness prevailed, and we talked about how we like to tweak our McFlurry orders. Collection time comes and he hands me an everything McFlurry. All the toppings, the sauce we'd agreed was best, literally a pile of chocolatey goodness on ice cream. Totally unexpected, I'd originally ordered a standard McFlurry, but from our conversation he decided to treat me. It was brilliant. I'd gone from excited, feeling good about myself and looking forward to a night out, to invisible, let down and miserable. And now this stranger has just done something really small but really nice for me for no real reason. And I wanted to cry again because it was so lovely and it genuinely just made my night. I felt ignored all evening, but McDonald's man saw me and saved me from a night crying into my pillow.
I don't know how to process what happened today. So, my fiancé and I went to see my sister today. Everything was going great. And then, she threw up about 1 pint of blood into the toilet. Bright red blood and clots.
I called 911 and stayed on the phone with them until the paramedics were in the room with us. I stayed right there, as did my fiancé. He stood outside at the end of the driveway for rescue to see where they needed to come to, and once they were there, they came back inside and quietly stood beside me, behind the paramedics. I'm so thankful that we were there today when it happened.
Found out afterward that that was her third time throwing up bright red blood today. They drove away with the lights and sirens blaring. That is never ever a good thing. She's already been admitted to the hospital. She's got a ton of internal bleeding going on from an unknown source, and she has multiple pulmonary embolisms now. She's got even more fluid around her heart than before.
Her voice was thin and so shaky. Her face and skin before she was loaded into the ambulance were pale and cold, and her lips and tongue were pale and snow white in that order. She's fucking dying!
This happened between 2:15 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. I got a call from her tonight around 7:30, and she said she was making her last calls. I could hear her struggle to breathe, and was left speechless when she told me that her breaths per minute were just 6, and her heart rate was elevated at 83 beats per minute, and her blood pressure was 122/70 something. I could hear her machines beeping and going off, and she was in so much pain.
She said that she'd thrown up once more in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, but since then, she'd only dry heaved. She's once again on an NPO diet and currently undergoing a CT scan. While she was on the phone with me, her nurse came in and explained what medications she was about to be given in 15-minute increments, and then what was going to happen after. So at 7:50 she was given fentanyl, and later was given a large dose of Benadryl and another anti-allergic medication. She's very allergic to the contrast typically used for CTs and MRIs in 99% of cases, so they could do an emergency CT scan and try to figure out where the blood is coming from.
She had already been in the hospital for 4 days earlier this week for the same exact reason, puking up considerable amounts of blood and not being able to keep anything down. She lost 20 pounds in 5 days. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I don't know how to process all of this. Update. He was finally let go from the hospital at 12:45 this morning, and she got home around 1:15 and called me. I answered on the first ring. I've not seen sleep yet, but honestly, I was deliberately staying awake so that I could pick up as soon as anyone called me. And also because I'm genuinely still so shook up from everything that I witnessed yesterday afternoon. So, I'm happy to report that she is home and resting. Doctors could not figure out where the extra blood was coming from, and believe me, they ran her through the whole gambit of blood work and other tests, including CT scans and an MRI, and it showed nothing. She got multiple x-rays of her chest done, and other than her other known health issues, those too came out clean. Same as before when she was admitted for 4 days for the same exact thing earlier this week. But the good news is that she's home, and I'm going to be going over to her home later this afternoon after church services and Sunday school to visit and sit with her. I'll continue to update y'all as this progresses. Thank you all for your kind words and prayers. They have been so helpful. Good night or morning, everyone.